20 years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
In recent years, peculiar cloud formations have been appearing in the skies all over the world with increasing frequency.
I think most of us in North America have wondered at these plumes crisscrossing the sky in grid patterns, parallel rows, and the now familiar X's. And many of us have wondered what these trails are. We have an FAA representative, in fact, a high government official, a person we came to call Deep Sky, attesting to the truth and the reality behind chemtrails. He described this program of spraying chemical trails at high altitudes in so-called commanded airspace, where commercial flights are routed around and beneath tanker airplanes belonging to the U.S. Air Force.
A chemical concoction comprising cadmium was used to mimic how a biological germ cloud would spread if Soviet Russia released one during an attack on us. Rural Bedfordshire was sprayed from aircraft, and more shockingly, from a converted lorry. The city of Norwich was hit over a sustained period. The Ministry of Defence have consistently said there was no significant health risk as a result of the experiments.
First of all, my mother had esophageal cancer and she died with it. And then my sister, she had esophageal cancer and she died with it October 2005. And then my brother, he died with it, and this was earlier this year. And now I've got it.
Longtime Valley resident Melanie St. James says she moved to the desert from LA for the clean air. But in the fall of 2009, she noticed the desert sky looked different.
The white, heavy white, long streaks started appearing in the air. I had a dry, burning respiratory system, lungs, bronchioles. Actually,
a lot of people are really concerned about the environment at the moment. And what I would say to them is that if you're concerned about the environment and you're concerned about your own health, you need to be concerned about chemtrails. Because where I live in Scotland, on countless occasions now, I've seen a clear blue sky start to become crisscrossed over the course of the day. These big white trails don't go away. They spread out, they form clouds, and by the end of the day, all that's left is this silvery, misty haze from horizon to horizon. The sky, it's not blue, it doesn't look natural, it certainly doesn't look the way it used to. Now, we know that this is happening. We know it's happening in all NATO countries, all Anglo-American countries, if not on a global level. We know it's happening on a weekly and sometimes daily basis, and that it's been going on for at least 15 years on a regular basis, probably longer than that. Now, I'm only 27 years old, but I know that the sky didn't used to be the way it is now, and millions of other people the world over from all walks of life and professions are also starting to realize that something's going on in the sky above their heads. The big problem is that we're getting flat-out denial from all governmental, military and corporate authorities, so no one, bar a few covert whistleblowers here and there, will even admit that chemtrails exist at all. So it's completely sidelined as a non-issue. It's called conspiracy theory, when the evidence is staring us in the face. Now, for people who are new to this, these trails are significantly different from normal chemtrails from passenger jets. So they don't disperse within a few seconds like normal water vapor. These are chemical and metallic compounds that are being sprayed out the back of large tanker jets. Now, whether they're military planes, passenger jets, corporate jets, we don't know, but the evidence we do have suggests that it could be all three, depending on the purpose of the spraying. We do know that there are dedicated tankers, though, that have been refitted especially to carry out these operations, and which are most probably operated by the Air Force, or perhaps joint ventures between the military and corporate bodies. So these trails are quite different. They'll often persist in the atmosphere for hours afterwards, depending on the intensity of the spraying and other atmospheric conditions or what have you. They'll coalesce to sort of form this nondescript, hazy sort of cloud cover. We've even seen the sprayers get turned off and on during flight, which that proves pretty conclusively that there's not just normal jet engine. We know that the military has been doing this for a long time. We know that weather warfare and weather modification were used in Vietnam and also in the Gulf War. We also know that aerial spraying for biological weapons tests was conducted in the UK over a period of 30 years or more. And we know that both military and corporate bodies have released papers and patents for the use of high-altitude aerosol spraying. So they've admitted this. This is on record. This is on file. We've got the documentation here that these have been mainstream television. But of course, it's always presented as being in the future, or some hypothetical future, or some distant past that you don't need to worry about. There's always the line that you're given. Now, one of the commonly held theories about the purpose of this program is that it's a geoengineering operation to slow down the process of global warming. There are a number of government scientists from around the world who openly stated that spraying metallic aerosols such as barium, aluminium, and strontium into the atmosphere would be one possible way to reflect the sun's heat and help cool the planet. Whether you buy into the global warming narrative or not, we are being systematically denied any information on this, let alone any admission that these programs are going on at all. Now, I've got my own thoughts on this particular theory. I think this is basically a convenient PR job, because in all my experience, whenever they do the spraying, it actually gets a lot hotter. The air gets really dry, hot, and stale whenever there's this cloud cover. But this is a common consensus that this is only one of the many applications of what they could be doing anyway. Military applications such as radar enhancements, weather control in combat situations, missile defense, that sort of thing, they're all feasible, especially when these metallic clouds are used in concert with applications like HAARP, which is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, and its other counterparts around the world. The other obvious thing would be the testing of various substances upon an unsuspecting public to monitor the results, or perhaps even the planned distribution of various compounds into the biosphere to affect biological systems and organisms. The bulk of the samples thus far, though, do point to aluminium, barium, and strontium. These are the most common. They've been turning up in drinking water, snow, soil, lakes, everywhere, and they've been turning up at levels that are many thousands of times of the safe limits. So it's no way can this be explained by anything else. And especially when you consider the corporate giant Monsanto have been genetically creating aluminium-resistant seeds. Now, these seeds have been hugely invested in by big population reduction foundations such as the Gates Foundation. You really can't rule out the possibility of an engineered food shortage and a total crop monopoly. Main concerns for now, though, are the health implications, because these metallic compounds have been turning up all over the place. There have been huge increases in hospital admissions due to respiratory problems, and it's been well established that we've had these flu-like symptom epidemics that have been sweeping across the US and also the UK with no actual causes to find. So millions of people all over the world are getting sick for no apparent reason. I myself have had this firsthand. There's been heavy spraying, the rain comes down, brings down the particles, and the next day I've got aches and pains, feeling lethargic, tired, nauseous, the works. Fortunately, we are seeing a massive global acknowledgement of this phenomenon in many countries, and increasing numbers of people from all walks of life are beginning to investigate and ask questions. The most disturbing thing about this is that no matter who you talk to, no matter who you ask, it doesn't matter where they are and what they do, because they'll just flat out deny it, or just they'll walk away as if they don't know anything about it. So this really does suggest that this is being coordinated and orchestrated on a much higher level, international level. What we need to do is to get people talking, get them looking at the sky, taking photos, talking to the friends, talking to the family, show people videos like this, organise rallies if you want, have community meetings, ask your local MP for whatever good to do, ask your local environmental agencies, and just start spreading the word, start getting the word out. The more fuss we make, the more chance we've got of getting some real action and some real coverage on this issue. Two excellent documentaries which I'd really recommend would be What in the World Are They Spraying, which is available in full on YouTube, which is an excellent documentary, and Aerosol Crimes, aka Chemtrails, which is a little bit older, not quite the same budget, but still a very good film which does deal with the facts. Obviously, there's a number of potentials for what these operations could be. I think most of the stuff we get given is probably PR spin, but the bottom line is that they are going on. They're going on all over the place. We are being poisoned by them, people getting sick, and we're completely being denied any information about it whatsoever. Chances are is that in 20 years' time they'll come out, they'll probably admit, oh, you know, we did it for your own good, or there was some reason we couldn't tell you, but of course this is always after the fact, you know, after people have gotten cancer and after people have died from respiratory illnesses and other things. So we really need to start getting some momentum behind this right now, start spreading the word, and hopefully if we can get enough people behind this and start causing enough fuss, enough sort of hoo-ha in the media and whatnot, then eventually there'll be, you know, some real action taken on this. So go out there, spread the word, and good luck.
We've seen these numbers of aluminum, barium, and strontium escalate several thousand percentage points just in the past 10 years. Those numbers were not there before the trails were there.
It's probably one of the biggest threats that I can see.
Mangle says soil tests have shown the actual pH of the Earth's soil has changed, making it harder for farmers to grow food. Also, Alzheimer's, which has been linked to aluminum, has skyrocketed. Here in Riverside County, Alzheimer's is at 260%.
You can't dismiss an increase like that and just say there's better reporting.
I contacted Mary Bono Mack, as well as Senators Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer, all of whom either did not respond or refused to comment.
There is a lot of money getting spent to make sure that a very substantial portion of the public stays totally confused about this.
But everyone is engaged here, as you can see from this map, in modifying the weather. There's something going on all over. The programs can last as long as they want. All this is going on, and as we perfect this and do studies and research and they perfect, more and more they will be able to control the weather, change what's happening, and when they do that, they disrupt your watershed, the water supplies to your watersheds, and they disrupt agriculture and the microclimate.